What's up, everyone? It is Wednesday, August 10th. Another edition of the Rundown. Joe should be joining us. Austin, what would that make it? 3 weeks in a row? We'll see if he comes on. We'll shoot. Austin, why don't you shoot him a quick message? Just remind him. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Have some Joe Musgrove news. Have a little behind the scenes on a couple of things that we're working on as it pertains to the NFTs for our creative. Have some Jolly Jokers news. And then, as always, we're here to answer questions. But nevertheless, Austin, why don't you kick us off with the live auction? For those who do not know, the live auction takes place in the Discord, in our Discord fan cave. So for those who are listening on Twitch or on YouTube, head on over to the fan cave and we'll get it live. Tonight we have a Joe Musgrove signed World Series baseball with the inscription "Houston Strong." So we're in Joe Musgrove mood. He went out and dealt in his last game with the Padres. Padres are looking good right now, loaded up on some talent. Musgrove fresh off that $100 million contract, and we love it. Joe, welcome.
Hey, sorry I'm late.
It's all good. So we're kicking off the live auction, and then we'll get into it. Real quick, I wanted to make an announcement on the Jolly Jokers. So we appreciate everyone for their activity and for participating in our partners' upcoming launch. We're excited to announce that we had 139 of our fan cave users sign up for the Jolly Jokers whitelist. And since the Jolly Jokers are such a great partner of ours, they have not only just given out the 50 whitelist spots that they have said that they would for everyone, they will be giving all 139 users a whitelist spot for their upcoming release. So super pumped about that. We're really excited to get the Jolly Jokers partnership kicked off. As we've been mentioning, we'll be creating a community council for those who do get their Jolly Jokers NFT. Really appreciate everyone's support. We'll have a couple other things. Since this one worked well and people seem to really be engaged, we're going to continue to work on other ways that we can partner with other cool NFT projects in the sports space and help continue to grow this community. I know when we announced the promotion the other day, we had over 100 new users join the server. So that's always great. Had a couple people stick around, and we've met some fresh faces. So we're excited to keep this thing growing. Nevertheless, let's move on to Joe Musgrove. Austin, do you want to share the visual? And Joe, why don't you take it away?
For Joe and other signed memorabilia coming down the pipe as well. There is an update though. We have decided with DraftKings to delay Joe Musgrove until next week, and we'll make a formal announcement in our channel. Reason being that we were a little late to the party with some advertising, both on DK and with Joe's schedule that changed over the past day or so. So we just wanted to make sure that it had its just desserts with marketing and the messaging was out there being synced. I think it also Rainmakers is a busy day tomorrow. So on the advice of DraftKings, they suggested that we just give it more air and let's get the marketing message out there. So we pump faked you, we put it out, but the drop is going to be next week, and we'll announce that in our Discord as well.
Yep. So while the event was postponed, given that this was kind of a late minute notice, we did not have a plan to take a week off from the Blitz, just because we wanted to have all eyes focused on the Joe Musgrove drop. So there will not be a Blitz tomorrow, but we will push that back to next week if the drop is not on Thursday. we'll obviously plan accordingly. But just wanted to give a heads up there. And obviously, we'll keep you guys in the loop once we hear about the updated date, updated timing, and we got some cool things planned alongside the Musgrove drop. So we're excited for when that does happen. Nevertheless, why don't we start to touch on our college football? So if you guys listened in last week and the week before, we had touched that we're going to be launching our 3 college football guys before the end of August, and we had also just spoke about how we're going to be mixing up the NFT creative from the Passport. So our creative team has put together two options that are still rough drafts, so that there are elements to the NFT that will be edited and will be continue to be developed. But for the sake of wanting to show the community and hear what you guys think, we wanted to give you guys a behind the scenes look for those who are willing to join the show. So Austin, why don't you roll those out? And again, these are rough drafts to the fullest extent. You'll see that some of the creative doesn't match up. And for example, those diamonds would be replaced with items that are pertinent to the athlete themselves. It's just there for the sake of example and for building out the model. But we wanted to try new ways to showcase the athlete in new ways, just that the community would like. So this is version 1, which is a further developed Passport model for Anthony Richardson.
So we're continuing to play around with the notion of this Passport, but we wanted to make it a little bit slicker and something that was a little bit more forward thinking with light and metal, etc. So you'll see the evolution.
And real quick, shout out to T-Man with the high bid of 101 for the Joe Musgrove signed baseball. So this is our second variation. Again, still a very rough draft, but think an environment that's exclusive to the athlete, where you can see their behind the scenes, you can see their gear. This one was more experimental. We think that this could be used for other things, maybe not the member NFT. So we'd be curious to see what you guys think of something like this and how it could be used, obviously metaverse applications and things like that. But we wanted to continue to try to think outside the box. And we wanted to pose it to you guys because ultimately you guys have a lot of good ideas. So we wanted to share this with you all.
Yeah. So my 2 cents was it needs to be workshopped a little bit more. I think it provides a view towards what a fan cave or a private metaverse museum could be for an athlete. I think we will use our 3D technology to create really good motion graphics for the athlete, but ultimately we want it to be well vetted and ready for prime time. I think ideally also where you see those jerseys and the pictures on the side, those would ultimately be customizable for event NFTs and other memorabilia NFTs. So I think it's something that needs work, but I kind of like the early vision of it, but I think it needs some workshopping.
Certainly agree. Nevertheless, let's get into questions. Unless Joe, is there anything else you wanted to touch on?
No, I encourage anybody to give us feedback in the appropriate channel, whether it's event chat or whatever, on what they saw. But you want to run them one more time? Run the first one and the second one, please, Austin.
Awesome. Look at that. Our producer. I mean, while we're looking at it, Anthony Richardson, 6'4", 230. Dude's a tight end. He's an animal.
And couldn't be the nicest guy. Just one of the nicest guys ever. He showed up a little bit late for a shoot, and we actually had dinner waiting for him. And he knew that there were about 5 people doing the shoot. He opted to eat at the end of the shoot, which I thought was a really classy move. And I know he was hungry because he was coming right from practice.
Probably the only Gator I'll ever have respect for. All right, so let's get to some questions. From Gig, any update on what is happening with Coops? Also, do you have plans for other non-sports related people, or was she a one-off?
She was very much a one-off, but I think it's a good test for what we're thinking about. I think ultimately the member NFT can be applied to any sort of professional job where there's a fan base or even better, a creative aspect. So we're having some ongoing conversations with with a number uh, of of captains of industry within music. I think the prospects of investing in a young musician's career is really exciting, or an artist's career is really exciting. And I think the nice thing about the event NFT program is that it could actually be pieces of content created by the actual artist or musician. So in the case of Coops, she intends on distributing art through event NFTs. In the case of some of the discussions we've been having with some firms within music, imagine getting behind the scenes videos or making of a track or even a music video in the future received as an event NFT, which we actually consume, but also monetize. So I think we're thinking about all those things, and like I said, sports is probably the first application of what could be a really big program for member and event NFTs.
Quick side note, Gary is in the lead of 102 for the Joe Musgrove signed ball.
Our bid increments are $1.
Yep. They can bid whatever they'd like.
Oh, okay.
For those who are participating, I would definitely check out the market price on a ball similar to that. You'll see.
Well, the balls that we're selling on DraftKings, were those Houston Strong balls or were those different?
No, those were different.
Oh, those were Beaver balls.
Yeah, but we have some other ones, some Musgrove ones planned that are different.
Gotcha.
Those Beaver balls, so we're selling for 500. It was one guy who was bidding 500, but good for him. Okay, with it similar to our point from earlier, from Yardley, with Rainmakers seemingly dominating DraftKings time, has there been any talk behind the scenes of an integration that will happen anytime soon?
So it was actually posed to me by DraftKings today for ideas on how to integrate our football product with Rainmakers. I think that's what your question is.
I think it was tech integration, but we can touch on
tech integration. Okay, I guess there's 2 points. One, there's moving our NFTs over to the DraftKings platform that are on Metabilia. That has taken a back seat in the product roadmap to 2 things. One, we asked them to prioritize SSO and the ability to do burn notices, but burn missions. Terrible show on USA. Excuse me. Burn missions as soon as possible. And then secondarily, we've asked them to update a number of learn more graphics to further educate their user base. So they prioritize those things, and behind that will be the technology integration. Continue to want to prioritize that. I think we're continuing to also hear both sides that people like executing on Metabilia. Obviously there's less users, less eyeballs, but I think there'll be a core memorabilia purchase function on the Metabilia site. So just know that's in the works, but we're still keeping an attention towards behaviors at Metabilia. I think the way I read your question, YC was really, around integration of our football player NFTs with Rainmakers. So they've asked us for some ideas on how to integrate, and that's something that we're going to take seriously. Certainly there could be discounts on auctions related to that player. There could be additional boosts to the competition. So I think we'll figure out all that. They're open to ideas. So if anybody has ideas that likes the Rainmakers product and likes our product and how we integrate it in a way that's repeatable, easy to understand, we're open to it. Obviously the economic model has to work, but I think we're open to ideas.
Awesome. Austin looked like, oh, was there another bid that I missed? The bid, oh, yes. T-Man coming in at 129 for the next bid on the Joe Musgrove ball. You guys must have looked up how much those balls cost. All right, next question from Gary. Would Metabilia consider facilitating private signing opportunities of its athlete partners and making the opportunity exclusive to membership holders? Doing it as a group would give us access to bulk pricing we normally wouldn't have and could allow us to send in our own items to have it inscribed.
So that's where this is headed, Gary. So today we were offered another 150 pieces for Josh Allen's, and we're likely going to take all or some of it. Where we want to get to in the future, and Josh Allen is going to be, certainly quantity-wise, that's a big number right now. So you'll likely see us with our younger athletes first be exclusive. So we'd like to pass that off to our member holders. And I think you saw some early indications of how we would do that, either as a pass, one-for-one auction pass or otherwise. So it's in the works. Probably easier said than done that for a younger athlete than a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen or even Aaron Donald, but that's where we're headed. I think once we have that position, custom inscriptions get a lot easier. I think guys are loath to do custom inscriptions. Guys that put the signings together are loath to do custom inscriptions, but that's where we want to take our product. And of course, that notion of bulk pricing, our view is that those rights and those economics should be passed off to our member holders, and the athlete is inclined to do so as well, given that a strong member NFT, is a good proxy for value, and he can issue more in the future. So it's a good thought. It's in the roadmap.
Marky Mark with the high bid of 135, starting to get interesting on the live auction. Next question: will Musgrove be next week, or if so, when do you expect Jason Dominguez to be released?
So I think Jason will depend on Fernando's schedule. I spoke to Fernando's agent earlier today, and it looks like he's on track for a return mid-August, at which point he'll be ready to publish and support a drop on his social. So we may prioritize Fernando versus Jason. It'd be great to know if that person that asked that question is a Yankee fan.
Well, I'm also a Yankees fan, so when I was reading it, I was also curious.
But, I think part of the reason for delaying Joe was we wanted some of our marketing to take hold. I've really asked to push the team to think creatively and expand on what we did for Josh Allen to really, really harvest those Yankee fans, harvest those San Diego fans, et cetera.
Another question about Tatis. Good news for Tatis. Will there be similar marketing for him compared to what you guys did for Josh Allen?
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to fly there and do a whole bunch of stuff, but we'll certainly do it remote. I think with Josh, it just happened to align with his golf tournament. So we were on premises, but, we've had a number of local contacts in San Diego, and this is certainly newsworthy. So you'll see us push that.
And I'd also add, obviously keep in mind that with Josh, it was during the off season versus Fernando when it's in the midst of a playoff run. So
yeah, it cuts both ways. He returns, so he's newsworthy, and the NFTs are out there. But obviously, getting him to do presses to talk about NFTs when he's returning, probably less likely to happen.
Yeah, and just given that what he's coming back from, probably want him to. I think we all agree we want him to focus on being the best baseball player that he can be. So it'll be a little bit different, but we expect to put our best foot forward. Austin, how much time do we have left in this live auction? I don't have it up in front of me. Did it end? 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Marky Mark with the high bid of 135. Joe, we have a minute 30 left. Is there anything you'd like to share with the people?
I think we're aware of what DraftKings intends on doing with the NFT marketplace and growing it and the natural traffic that we have with Rainmakers. So you're going to see us push the envelope not only on the quality of our NFTs, the quality of our event NFTs, integrations with Metabilia, and also the quality of our athletes. So Noah is getting me geared up for a meeting we have with the agents of probably number one on my list in the NBA as far as Friday. So I think there are deals to do with high quality athletes. We just gotta go do them. And I think we've learned, not to pick on Shane Bieber, but we're gonna push the marketing on all of our athletes and also ensure that we're leading with the best and the youngest and the best.
Another question from Gary. Is the idea of having a team represent a membership NFT be possible or attractive? Say a college basketball team, the event NFTs would be particular games or particular members. And real quick, we got bonus time on the Joe Musgrove signed baseball. Team in with the late bid at 136. Extra time added. Austin, here we go again. We say it every time.
We have a snipe window?
We have a snipe window. We're high tech over here.
Good. Great question, Gary. There is a proposal in front of 7 collegiate basketball and football programs today. I would consider them the best of the best as far as programs, as far as longevity. What we're talking to them about is a membership NFT related to a program. The great thing about this construct is that not only do we have group rights on all the athletes covered in the collegiate program, but we also have the use of university marks. So let's assume that Gary is a fan of UNC Tar Heel basketball. We sell Gary a member NFT, probably on the DraftKings platform. Every time there is a game, the member holder gets airdropped a player of the game NFT, which commemorates the player of the game and also will incorporate unique content from that player. In addition to that, there's a memorabilia component. So we will be getting, we've asked for 5 game-used balls and 5 game-used jerseys per game, which will be then rendered as 1-for-1 NFTs and exclusive to the member holder. 10 and 10 for football. So it's a product that we came up with. It's a product that we think is far superior to anything that's in the collegiate space today. And again, one that incorporates that notion of collecting and also the ability to access pretty cool memorabilia. That's really confidential, so hopefully we don't share that with anybody.
T-Man with the late snag, congratulations. Getting that ball at $136. That's a great deal. Austin will be in contact with you to get that item. This wasn't asked, but I had seen it being talked about and asked about over the course of the week. Joe, is there any? Would we be open to sharing some thoughts on potentially down the line of us being able to offer other people's memorabilia through the Metabilia platform?
It's in the works. I would say that the one thing that we need to get right is authentication. So what I don't want to have happen is our offering gets watered down by virtue of somebody trying to pass off bad stuff to us or the authentication process not being scalable to the point where it's rendered ineffective. So I think you'll see us try to get that system in place first. We're working on a number of authentication methods with using blockchain as well. One idea is that we partner with really strong collectors first that have big collections so that we get the process down. But ideally the intake is very seamless. User tells us what they have, we agree to it, we intake it, we film it, we turn it into NFTs, and then it's pushed. So working on that now.
Awesome. Well, that's all we got tonight. Again, congratulations to T-Man. And for those who are tuning in late, I know we had a few other people hop in late. Joe Musgrove will not be tomorrow. We will post an announcement and obviously keep everyone up to date with all of the information. Exciting things to come with Joe Musgrove, followed by our next roll of athletes. And we appreciate you all for joining us. So have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday and appreciate you all joining.
Thank you, everyone.